Today, I'm going to do a slightly unusual video, but one that should be quite interesting. On my table, there's a plastic box filled with brand new spark plugs that I haven't had a chance to use for a long time. Instead of just letting them sit there, I decided to take one out and turn it into a tiny DIY antenna, a simple yet fun experiment. This will be a small adventure with an object that seems ordinary but can surprisingly transform in unexpected ways, and I'll explain each step so you can follow along easily. Let's get started. Can you guess what's inside this little accessory pouch of mine? There are a few familiar things, but also some items that might make you curious. And here it is, the medium-sized magnet. Compact, but powerful enough to do quite a few fun tricks in our DIY experiment. Just imagine, if we combine this magnet with the spark plug, could we make an antenna? I'm telling you straight, it's totally possible. And you can see, the piece of copper wire in my hand is an extremely useful item. Now, I'm going to wrap this piece of copper wire around the threaded part of the spark plug first, and the method I'm showing in this video is quite unique. I'm sure you won't be able to guess what the next step will be. Next, I'm going to use pliers to bend back the excess copper wire that hasn't been wrapped yet, as you can see on the video screen, and then trim it down. Bending and trimming the wire neatly keeps everything looking organized and makes the next steps much easier to handle. Next, I'm going to use another piece of copper wire and follow the same process as before, but this time I'll wrap it around the tip of the spark plug's threads. This step is crucial for increasing the stability and strength of the connection, ensuring the antenna operates smoothly and efficiently. While wrapping, I'll take my time with each coil, carefully adjusting them so they sit tightly together without overlapping, creating a neat and balanced look. At the same time, I'll check the wire tension, making it firm enough but not too tight to avoid damaging the spark plug threads. This method also keeps the wire snug against the spark plug surface, minimizing any chance of shifting or loosening during the process, while maintaining an organized and professional appearance. I'll pay attention to small details, like the wrapping direction and spacing between coils, to make sure that when combined with other components, the antenna works reliably, effectively, and safely. The next step is to secure the spark plug onto this magnet. The next step is to secure the spark plug onto this magnet using hot glue, a reasonable choice. The glue sticks well to both the metal of the spark plug and the magnet surface, keeping the spark plug stable. I'll heat the glue, apply it to the contact area, and hold it for a few seconds to set, ensuring a solid connection. Can you see clearly? In my hand is an old SIM card I just found on the street, and my next action is sure to surprise you. I'm going to attach this SIM card onto the spark plug by using hot glue. After securing the SIM onto the spark plug, I'll proceed to solder aluminum wire at the 4 small corners of the SIM, looking like 4 tiny drops of water. The main purpose of this is to create solid connection points for the 2 ends of the copper wire that were previously wrapped around the spark plug. These connection points help stabilize the link between the spark plug and the copper wire, ensuring the antenna signal is transmitted efficiently without interruption. While soldering, I'll take each step carefully, controlling the temperature and position of each aluminum drop so that it adheres firmly without damaging the SIM surface or the copper wire. I'll also watch closely to make sure each drop is large enough to make good contact. I'm holding it up so you can take a look at the result after finishing. As you can see, all the components are neatly secured and well connected, ready for the next test step. In this step, I'll use pliers to hold one end of the copper wire onto the aluminum drop that was just soldered. Then, I'll apply the soldering iron briefly to fix the wire in place, ensuring it doesn't come loose. For the other end of the copper wire, I'll do the same. Hold it with pliers and solder it onto the corresponding aluminum drop. This is a step drill bit. Soon you'll see what I plan to do with it. I'll set this item aside for now. Next, I'll take another piece of copper wire. This time, I'll shape it into an antenna by using the surface of the step drill bit to form a spiral. Shaping it this way not only keeps the wire in a fixed form but also increases the contact surface area, improving both signal reception and transmission. The spiral design also helps reduce interference, distributes current evenly along the length of the wire, and provides more stable performance for the antenna. Additionally, the spiral structure saves space, allowing it to be arranged on smaller surfaces while maintaining operational efficiency. I'll use pliers to bend the protruding end of the copper wire at the top of the coil straight upwards, then trim it down to shorten it. This keeps the antenna neat, prevents any wires from getting in the way, and preserves the spiral shape, while ensuring effective electromagnetic connection. I'll bend the slightly curved copper wire at the base straight out, as this makes it easier to connect with other components. This ensures the wire ends are in the right position, making assembly easier and maintaining effective signal transmission for the antenna. This ground contact point on the spark plug is truly ideal for connecting the copper wire I just straightened at the base of the coil. Attaching the wire here makes the connection firm and stable, ensuring that current can flow continuously from the spark plug to the copper wire without interruption. This position also keeps the wire aligned correctly, preventing it from shifting or interfering with other parts of the antenna. As a result, the entire antenna structure is not only sturdy but also ensures efficient signal transmission, allowing the antenna to operate reliably and consistently during testing. This is an important step, and doing it carefully will make a noticeable difference in the antenna's overall performance. In my hand is a CATV splitter, one input to two outputs. It's like a Y-junction for your TV signal, splitting one source into two paths. I've prepared two small pieces of single-core wire, with many tiny copper strands twisted inside. Now I'm stripping a small section of insulation off both ends of each wire, exposing the copper core inside. Getting them ready like this makes the next connection step smooth and easy. First, twist the exposed copper cores of each wire neatly so they make better and more stable contact when inserted into the CATV splitter. Next, insert the two wires into two adjacent terminals of the splitter, making sure they sit firmly, straight, and without wobbling. Once in place, secure them with hot glue. This keeps the wires from slipping and protects the connection from dust, minor bumps, or vibrations. I'll wait a moment for the hot glue to harden. This helps make the connection more secure and safer for continued use. Now I'm going to secure the CATV splitter onto the magnet surface using hot glue, positioning it opposite the spark plug. Placing it here prevents the wires from stretching or getting in the way, and keeps the splitter firmly in place during use. Using hot glue is a simple yet effective way to hold everything steady without extra tools. Next, I'm going to solder the remaining ends of the two wires onto the two aluminum pads located on the SIM. While soldering, keep the wires steady and make solid connections to ensure stable signal transmission and prevent loose contacts later. Careful soldering creates a strong, stable connection, helping the device operate smoothly and last longer. I have an old charger that's missing the phone plug. It includes the charging brick and a separate cable. One end USB, the other end plugs into the phone. This will be the power source I'm using for this DIY project. I'm using pliers to strip a section of insulation from the broken end of the charging cable, carefully avoiding cutting the internal copper strands. Then I twist the exposed copper core neatly and tightly. Preparing the wire this way makes the next connection step much easier, while ensuring a stable electrical signal without interruptions. It's a small step, but very important for everything to work smoothly later on. Next, I'm going to connect this charging cable to the remaining terminal of the CATV splitter. The method is exactly the same as we did with the 2 wires earlier. First, twist the exposed copper core neatly, then insert it into the splitter's terminal so it sits firmly without wobbling or misalignment. Once in place, I secure it with hot glue, which keeps the wire from slipping and protects the connection from minor bumps or vibrations. It's actually very simple, but if done carefully, everything connects perfectly, the signal transmits reliably, and you won't have to worry about small issues later. I've now finished building the homemade antenna device. If you've been following along with this guide, let me know how far you've gotten by leaving a comment below. I'd love to see your results and share a few extra tips if needed. Right now, my TV screen is showing no signal. I'm going to go around to the back of the TV to plug it in and check if the device works properly. And, surprise! As soon as I plugged it in, the screen lit up immediately. The signal was so stable, I wondered why anyone would spend money on an expensive store-bought antenna. Speaking of this, it reminds me of my grandfather during World War II. He often told me that when he was young, everything was incredibly scarce. During those bombing days, people had to improvise the most basic survival tools. From makeshift water filters, homemade lamps from cans and wax, to self-made radios to catch the news. He told stories of entire neighborhoods gathering around a homemade radio, anxious for their families, yet proud of their own ingenuity. He always emphasized that in those days, every tiny detail mattered: a solid joint, a wire in the right spot, even a piece of cloth used as a cover could determine whether something worked or failed. Every time he spoke about dismantling, soldering, and reassembling tiny components, I could see a reflection of myself in the DIY steps I'm doing today. This homemade antenna, seemingly small, could fail if I weren't careful with each wire and layer of hot glue, just like those improvised radios back then. He would say that sometimes they had to wait all day to test a new device, observing every detail, adjusting each wire, and only turning it on once everything was stable. Looking at my antenna, I reminded myself that patience and precision are what make a device work smoothly. DIY isn't just about making something. It's about learning patience, observing carefully, and enjoying each moment when everything functions as intended. My grandfather's memories are more than just stories. They're lessons in creativity, patience, and determination. When I do DIY, I feel like I'm continuing that spirit. Every solder joint, every wire, every layer of glue is proof that making it yourself yields reliable and stable results. This teaches me that buying ready-made isn't always better. Doing it yourself helps you understand the mechanism, learn to adjust when things go wrong, and savor the joy of seeing it work. So, if you found this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe so we can try more DIY projects together. Try making it yourself, learning as you go, and enjoy the satisfaction of creating something with your own hands. And you, how far have you gotten? Leave a comment and tell me. I'm eager to see your results, share tips, and suggest little tricks to keep everything working reliably. In the end, it's the hands-on experience, solving problems yourself, and seeing the results firsthand that's the most rewarding part. Something no tool or device can replace.